Volume's right. Are we good? Make sure we're good here on Facebook. Make sure we're good on Instagram. They say I'm waiting for my live to start on Facebook. If you are watching this on wherever you're watching this, shout yourself out in the comment section. If you're watching this on a replay, if this is recorded, you don't have to shout yourselves out. Sometimes on YouTube, people shout themselves out in the comment section. I appreciate y'all, but it's not live if you're watching on YouTube, at least not this one. This one is live I'm live on Instagram. I'm waiting for Facebook to officially start. They say they are starting it, but for whatever reason, it's getting me a hiccup. But as y'all coming in, shout yourselves out in the comments section. I am putting my pinned comment here for Work on Your Game Live. And the deadline is January 22nd. It's actually the 23rd at midnight, but we're going to put January 22nd. As y'all coming in, shout yourselves out in the comments section. And let me get this comment here. I got to write a few things. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday and a great weekend. Great start to the 2023 year. We're 2 weeks into it. And Instagram, Facebook said they can't start the video. I don't know why. Let me do this again on Facebook. For whatever reason, it didn't start. As y'all coming in, shout yourselves out. We got Chicago in the place. We got Chicago in the house. Shout out to Chicago. And I got to do this again on Facebook. Give me a second here while I get this Facebook one going. For whatever reason, it's didn't start. What we're going to talk about here today is the sales mindset. We're talking about how to turn your skills into revenue. That's what we're talking about. And any of you, some people give me a comment, tell me what you sell. Because then I can talk more specifically about it when I get into the points that I'm going to get into here today. And this is something that we're going to be talking about a lot at Work on Your Game Live, which is February 3rd and 4th in Miami, Florida. We make sure that we get this Facebook thing going. All right, it's counting down. 3, 2, 1. It says it started. Live video is starting. ... All right, now we're live on Facebook. All right, so we go on Facebook. We are live now. Instagram. All right, they didn't added a whole bunch of stuff on Facebook. They got a whole thing going here on Facebook as far as the process. But anyway, let's get into this. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dre Baldwin. I'm a former 9-year pro athlete. I'm the author of 33 books. I've done 4 TED Talks. I created this whole brand called Work on Your Game, where I take the mindset and the strategies to help an athlete get to the top 1%. And I take that same goal, get into the top 1%. And I help professionals with this now when it comes to their mindset, when it comes to their strategies and everything in between. Because really everything comes from the mindset and strategy. How are you thinking? And then what is your process for actually getting to the goal? That's pretty much what we're all trying to do. So what we're going to talk about here today is the sales mindset that you need to profit off of your work. This is especially important for those of you who are entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial minded, meaning you have some ideas and you got some things that you want to create on your own. You got some things that you want to get done. You want to do on your own. Maybe you want to do your own thing, or you're in the process of doing your own thing. You have to have the mindset of a salesperson, which is different than the mindset of a creator. Those are two different things. Now on social media, especially on apps like Instagram and TikTok, YouTube, they are all very well known. I look at these apps. I use all of them every single day. And I see them, they talk about creators. YouTube has a whole thing. They got a whole suite of materials and tools and stuff that they offer for creators. That's what they call them, creators. What's going on, Charles, over there on Facebook? Y'all can shout yourselves out on Facebook too. I can see the comments on Facebook as y'all are coming in. But they have this whole suite for creators. Instagram has this whole thing for creators. The thing is, Pierre checking in from Paris. What's going on? Shout out to you. Pretty fied faces said, I'm an entrepreneur. What does that mean? What do you sell? I'm asking, what is your business? What are you actually selling? Those of you who are entrepreneurs, tell me what you sell in the comment section. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, tell me what you sell. It will help me better tailor what I'm going to talk about here today as I get into some examples. But the whole thing is, the social media apps have a lot of things about creators, people who create stuff. So you create your reels, you create your videos, you create your pictures, whatever it is that you post to get your attention and get your people to know who you are, your fans and all of that stuff. Understand that you don't make money from doing that. You don't make money from posting videos on YouTube. You don't make, well, you can get the ad revenue. but you don't make money from posting pictures on Instagram. Again, you can, maybe some people will come into your audience based on that. Charles said business credit. Okay. So understand that it's the sales mindset that actually makes the money. And keep it in mind, everybody, in case you didn't know, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, your number one priority is generating revenue for the shareholders of your business. If you are not a public company, meaning you don't have shareholders, you don't have, what do they call it? You don't have stock out there on the stock market. You are the shareholder. You are the sole proprietor of your business. It is your responsibility to generate revenue and returns for yourself. Generate revenue, not likes, not comments, not followers, subscribers, views, or all those things that we call vanity metrics. I know some people who are really, really great at what they do, but they are terrible at selling. Pretty Fied said, you sell makeup services and artwork. All right, cool. Thank you for sharing that. And Charles, also, thank you on Facebook. You told me what you sell. Understand that if you are great at what you do, but terrible at selling it, you're going to be very frustrated because you know you have the skill, but your revenues, your returns are not matching up to the abilities that you have. And if you're a great salesperson, but a terrible creator, well, you still have a challenge too, but you got less of a challenge. All you got to do is go find somebody who has great stuff, but doesn't know how to sell it. There's a whole lot of them out there, and you start working with them, sell their stuff, and you'll be good. So let's talk about this. I'm going to give you 3 points here today about the sales mindset. Number one, creating things and selling things are two separate disciplines. They're two separate skill sets, and you need to put an equal amount of time into both. Ideally, you put more time into selling than you do into creating. Remember, again, what I told you, the social media apps, if you let them tell you where to put your time, they're going to tell you to spend most of your time creating things. Why? Because that's how they make their money. All right. They make their money by getting you to create more and more stuff. You put it on their applications for free. And then they tell you different ways you could possibly make money from it. Like Instagram has ways where you can sell your products through Reels and Instagram Shop or whatever it's called. YouTube has, you can connect to some platform where you sell your merch and you can get your ad revenue. I mean, they throw you some bones and tell you some ways to do it, but they want you to keep creating, because if you stop creating, then they have no material, because their whole platform is based on user generated content. Their whole YouTube goes away if all of us stop putting videos up there. If all of us stop posting to Instagram, there's no more Instagram. If all of us stop posting to TikTok, there's no more TikTok. Their business model is based on you creating content. They are selling you on the concept of creating more content. That's their business model. Your business model is selling your products and services to people who can afford to pay you. And you got to understand that there's a conflict between the business model of the apps that you use every day and your business model if you understand business. And again, there's a whole bunch of people coming up these days who don't understand business. They think that because they got a lot of vanity metrics on a social platform, that makes a business, or that makes a brand. It makes a brand. It does not make a business. A brand is you being known and people knowing about you and what idea people have about you in their minds. A business is the revenue. That's the money coming in. And if you can only make money by getting on a social app, then what you really have is a job. You don't have a business. Because if that app decides to delete your account or suspend you, how are you going to make your money? You can't, because you got to go through the app in order to make money. All right. So they basically own you. So you want to make sure that you understand the difference between these disciplines of creating and selling. And there's an art to each and there's a science to each. The art is how you want to do things and just the way that you decide to move. The science is what are the basics that you need to understand that are black and white, that apply to everybody, no matter who you are and what you are doing. And most of us are not naturals at both of these. Some people, you naturally pick up the internet and content creation. I would say I can go into that group. And there are some people who are natural more on the selling side and the money making side, or at least you know it very well to the point that it feels like it's natural, or it looks like it's natural to other people. But you got to understand that you got to put time into learning about both of these. You got to invest in these. If you want to build a business, you have to invest in your business. Look at a company like Meta, which is also known as Facebook these days. Look at Walmart. Look at Amazon. Look at Nike. How much money do you think the creators of these companies put into their businesses? I'm talking about money that they invested into the business to help the business grow. How much money do you think they put into it? And then I want you to look at your business in last year. Ask yourself, how much money did you put into your business? How much money did you put into your business last year? How much money did you put into learning about how to better do your business last year? How much money have you put into your business so far this year? We're 2 weeks into the year. I mean, everybody had goals for this year, what you want to do different and better and go further. How much have you invested into your business? Even if you are a natural at the art of, let's just say, selling, the art of getting the money, understand you still got to learn the science of it. The science is the black and white, the stuff that is absolutely true that, again, applies to everybody across the board, no matter what your business is. You got to know that stuff. You got to study that stuff. You got to put time into it. You got to put attention into it, and you got to put money into it if you are serious about your business. Name any business that is big that almost everybody knows about that they don't put any money into it. You can't name one. There isn't any. So there's an art to it. There's a science to it. And you got to invest in these things if you are serious about your business. You can't go to the universe and say, I mean, think about this. Think about whatever you did last year, business wise, right? And you put in what you put in last year. You got out what you got out last year. Can you go to the universe and say, look, this is the deal that I want to do, universe. I'm going to give you the same amount this year that I gave you last year. I'm going to make the same investments this year that I made last year, but I want you to give me back twice as much as what you gave me last time. Is that possible? Can anybody do that? Has anybody ever pulled that off before in life? Now, most of you, again, when I put it that way, most people say, no, that's not possible. But I talk to people every single, I got to pause connection there. I ask people, what do you want to do next year compared to what you did this year? And people tell me they want to do 10 times as much, 3 times as much, 5 times as much. Nobody says they want to do the same amount. Everybody wants to do a whole lot more. And then I ask them, okay, well, how much more are you going to give in order to get 10 times more? And people usually say something like, well, I'm going to keep doing the same thing that I've already been doing. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't add up, folks. That's bad math. Now, again, you don't have to be a mathematician to understand that that's bad math. That doesn't make sense. There's an art and there's a science. Point number 2. So the first thing is understanding these are 2 separate disciplines. You got to invest in both. Number 2, people value what they buy more than what they get for free. So if you want people to really value what you offer them, you got to make them pay for it. This is the business side of it. This is the science. This is the black and white. This is the hard part of the business side of what you do. If you want people to value what you are giving them, you have to make them pay for it. I'm not saying that everything you do has to be paid. Like right now, I'm doing this live stream. It's free. I send out a daily motivation text every single day. I'm going to put my number for the daily motivation for those of you who want to get that text every day. It's free. I'm not going to charge you for the daily motivation. If you want people to value what you're giving them, though, and you want them, and when they value it, here's the thing. When they value things, they pay more attention. When they value things, they show up. And when they value things, they actually do what you tell them to do. If you want that to happen, which is how you produce results and you get testimonials and you build a reputation, you got to make people pay for what you're offering them. If you give it to them for free, they won't value it. Therefore, they won't use it. They won't listen. They won't follow through. You can give somebody the best advice best advice you could ever give them. If you don't make them pay for that advice, they won't follow it. They'll thank you for it, but they won't follow what you told them to do. But if you charge them for it and you gave them some mediocre advice, they will follow that and get results. Why? Because human beings we got an emotional connection to our money. So when you make people pay for stuff, they seem to pay a lot more attention. This is just how it works. This is just life. So as a business person, all you entrepreneurs out there or professionals, let's just call you professionals, you got to be willing to put a price tag on what you do, and you must demand that people pay the price for what you offer. Because again, if you give it to them without making them pay, you might as well have just thrown it in the garbage, because they're not going to use it. They're not going to value it. They're not going to get the ROI from it that they're supposed to, simply because they are not invested. If you want people to pay attention to something, you must get them invested in it. And to be invested means they got to put their money down. They got to put their money on the table. This is the game. This is the way that it works. So you got to make people put their money on the table. And as an entrepreneur, you got to be willing to go after the money. You got to be willing to tell people, no, you got to pay for this. No, this ain't free. You got to pay for it. So what you do with the free stuff, like what I'm doing right now, is you can give people a sample. I'm showing you that I know what I'm talking about, giving you a sample by giving you this live or posting on your feeds or whatever it is that you put out for free, your podcasts, your videos, whatever, your interviews. All of those things are ways of letting people know, hey, I'm here and I have value for you. But if you want people to really, really get something out of what you're offering them, they got to put their money on the table. Otherwise, what people do with this material, they kind of jerk off to the material, meaning they consume it and they like it, and they will leave you the comments and tell you that this is good stuff, but they're not actually going to do anything with it. It goes in one ear and is out the other. So 5 minutes after this live is over, There are people listening to this right now saying, I like what he's saying, or this video, if you watch this on replay, I like what Dre is saying, but you're not actually going to do anything with what you're hearing because you're not investing in it. This is why you got to make people put their money on the table. It helps you, of course, it helps you make money because your responsibility to earn money from the value that you give to people, but it also helps them because it forces them to pay attention. And if you are serving somebody and they're not paying attention, it doesn't matter that you serve them because they're not going to get a result. Therefore, you don't look good because you can't go to the next person and say, hey, look, I helped this guy. Look at the results he got. Well, he doesn't get any results. He doesn't have any results. Why? Because he didn't do anything. Why didn't he do anything? Because he wasn't invested. This is why you have to be disciplined about making sure that people pay you for what you are giving them. This is your responsibility. And at my event, Work on Your Game Live, I'll be showing you the strategies and the approaches that you use to make sure that people pay you for what you're offering, and the strategies to make sure that you're talking to the type of people who are already predisposed to pay for what they're getting. You don't want to build your whole business around serving the freeloaders. If you're building your business around serving freeloaders, well, you got a problem because how are you going to make any money? You got a bunch of people who might have money, but they're not willing to spend money. They're not willing to invest money. You don't want an audience full of those people. You want an audience full of people who not only have the money, but they're also willing to invest it because they understand the value of it. And there's an art and a science to identifying who those people are and focusing your energy on those people as opposed to, again, the freeloaders. These are the people who will, again, they'll like your posts and stuff, but they're not buying anything. You can't build a business around that. You can build a brand around that. You can be known. You can get a whole bunch of followers and likes and views and comments and subscribers and all the other vanity metrics, but you can't pay bills with followers and likes. You can't pay bills with views and comments and subscribers. You pay bills with money. Everybody got that? When people pay money, they pay attention. Here's the third point. In basketball, for example, my background's in professional basketball, but in basketball, the question is not if you can shoot. The question is, can you get your shot? See, a lot of people can shoot, but if you put them in a game, can they actually get to the position where they're open for a shot and then actually get their shot off before the defense gets in their way and stops them from getting the shot off? So it's not a question of if you can do the thing. The question is, can you create your own opportunity to get the thing? This is where the systems and the strategy come into place, and the execution also come into place, all built on the foundation of mindset. That's why at Work on Your Game Live, we're going to be talking about all four of those things: mindset, strategies, the systems, and the execution. It's not a question of do you have the ability, because I talk to people every day. I hear from people all the time. They have skills. You have something of value. Maybe you want to be a coach. Maybe you want to be a professional speaker. Maybe you're an author. You have a great idea for a book. Maybe you already wrote your book. You already got some great stuff that you want to offer. You got a course that you want to sell to people, and you know it would be useful if you could just get people to sign up for your course. The question is not, do you have something of value that other people could benefit from? That's not the question. The question is, can you take the thing that is of benefit, that would be beneficial to other people, and can you get those people to understand that they should exchange their money for that thing? That's the question. I'm not questioning whether or not you have something of value in your head that could be translated to money. The question is, can you actually do the translation? Can you make it translate to money? And if you don't know how to do that, then what I would suggest to you is not that you just keep banging your head against the wall trying to figure it out on your own, because that might take you forever. Instead go get with somebody who already knows how to do that. And the way you know they know how to do it, because they're already doing it. They're actively doing it right now. And also someone who knows how to explain it. That's the value of free materials, that someone can demonstrate to you they know how to explain things, and get with them so that they can show you how to take what you have and turn it into what you want. Take what you have and turn it into what you want. What you have usually is, all right, there we go. What you have is usually some form of proprietary information or knowledge or insight, and you want to turn that into money. That's what you want. All right, that's usually what you're looking for in any form of business. So the question is not, can you shoot? The question is, can you get your shot? So what you got to understand is creating is one game, selling is another game. I know, again, some great creators out there who they would have trouble selling water in the desert simply because, not because they don't have the ability to communicate, but simply because they don't have the mindset of a salesperson. And when you're in business, you got to have the mindset of a salesperson. And anybody got a question, put it in the comment section now, because I'm going to wrap up and I'm going to recap and I'm going to take questions if there are any. that the mindset of a salesperson is a person who understands that they understand their number one priority and your mandate as a business owner, which is generating revenue, generating returns for your shareholders. If you're the sole proprietor in your business, you are the shareholder. Your job is to generate that revenue. And generating revenue, the mindset of being a salesperson doesn't just mean you just decide. It can be this simple depending on the level of information that you have, level of knowledge that you have. It's not just, all right, I heard what Dre said, so now I'm going to decide to be a salesperson, and then all of a sudden the money starts flowing in. If you already have skills in place, it can work like that. But if you don't have skills in place, here's what you got to do. You got to go get the skills. You got to do the work, folks. Again, I mean, this is life. You can't get something for nothing. You have to do the work. So what does it mean doing the work? What does it mean? What it means is you need to invest in your education. All of you should have a budget set aside, or at least in your mind know what you're going to invest in your professional development this year. How many different events are you going to attend? How many books are you going to read? How many courses are you going to sign up for? How many masterminds are you going to join? Who's going to coach you? You need to know these things. These are things that you should know. This is not some like random thing that you do just when you get around to it, or if the energy hits you, you get inspired to do this randomly one time. Anyone who is serious about growing their business, and anybody who is already growing their business consistently, they're already thinking about this stuff. They already know, all right, I'm going to these events this year. I'm going to at least this many events. I'm going to be coached by this person or these people. I'm going to sign up for this many courses. I'm going to join this mastermind. I'm going to get this information. I'm going to go to these conferences. They already know that they're going to be doing this stuff, and they know they choose these things based on, here's what I'm focused on. All right, this year, you know what I'm going to focus on? I'm going to focus on getting my mind right around, making twice as much money. I want to make this much money. I never made this much money before. I might have some hangups in my mind about this amount of money. I'm going to go to these events because these events are going to help me get my mind right around money. Or these over here, I'm going to build my business. I need to build a team. So, I'm going to go to some events where people have already built teams and they talk about that. So I can get my mind right around being a leader who can actually build a team and have the right kind of pieces around me. And I can lead these people and communicate with them in the right way and take them where they need to go. Or if your thing is you just want to make more sales, I'm going to go to some events that are based around selling, that are based around how do I get my product off the shelves, collecting dust, and into the hands of the people who actually need it. Who are the people who are talking about this the most? Who are the people who are focused on that? Or if it's, hey, I got all the pieces, but I just don't know how to organize this stuff. Who can help me with the strategy? Who can help me organize my thoughts and get my stuff together so I can have things in the right place? You need to know where your weaknesses are and where or if you don't want to call them weaknesses, you call them whatever you want, but your areas for improvement. The places where you need to get better and you need to step your game up, you need to know what they are so that you can focus on them, so that when someone who is offering help that you need in that area, when they speak up, you're like, oh, that's exactly what I need. Let me go see what they're doing. Let me go find out when their next event is. Let me go subscribe to their podcast. Let me go get their book. Let me sign up for their coaching program. Let me figure out what it is. Do you want to be in a group program where it's a bunch of people? You get on a Zoom call, 100 people on there, and you just get the information. You take your notes, and you only have to talk if you don't want to. Is it one-on-one? Do you want to work with somebody who you can get personalized attention from and just talk to them individually? Are you willing to invest in that? If it costs you a little bit more to do that way, do you want to go to a conference where you're meeting people and shaking hands? Do you want to sign up for a course where you don't have to interact with anybody? You just take in all the information, take notes, and then you have to apply it, but you got to hold yourself accountable because nobody's going to check on you to make sure that you did it. You need to know what your style is, what's going to work for you, what you need, and then you got to take action on this stuff. And mind you, for the people who are watching this on replay, or you're watching this, when I put the video up on YouTube, who knows, you might watch this 10 years later. I'm recording this. We're 2 weeks into the new year. 2 weeks into the new year. Understand, folks, the game has already started. All right, the game has already begun. So if you're going to do something, then you need to be doing it like now. Like, you need to be planning what events are you going to. I already got, let me see, one, not counting my own event, which is February 3rd and 4th. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I already got 5 events I'm going to in the first 3.5 months. By April, by Easter, I already have gone to 5 events this year, not counting my own. I'm not telling you that to impress you, but to impress upon you. I already know what I'm looking for. I already know who I'm trying to connect with. I already know what type of people I'm trying to meet. I already know, and I'm trying to coordinate. All right, when can I go to this one and this one in the same trip? I'll go to this one over here, then that one over there. What type of people I'm going to meet at that event and this event over here and this event over there. I already know what I'm looking for. I already know what gaps I'm trying to fill and what information I'm trying to get. And I already know what types of people already have it. And one of the ways to do this, folks, is not just browsing online, is making the right connections with the right types of people. See, when you meet people who are already doing some of the things that you want to do, you need to know how to ask them the right questions. All right, what events are you going to? All right, what are some things that you're doing great? What do you think I need to learn how to do that I'm not doing right now? What are some gaps you see in my skill set and my knowledge set? The only way you can build these kind of relationships with those types of people is you got to show some value in what you're already doing so that they are willing to talk to you. Because why would somebody want to talk to you if you don't seem to be on a level that they're on? All right, what are they getting out of the conversation? See, these are things that you got to be thinking about. This is all part of the strategizing that you need to be doing for your business and your career and your life. All right, all of this stuff is the stuff that you need to be thinking about and considering when it comes to advancing yourself and moving yourself forward in your business. And these are things that the people who are making it happen, these are things that we're thinking about all the time. This is like an everyday thing. It doesn't matter if it's a new year, old year, whatever. We're always moving forward to do these kind of things. So if you're not a good salesperson, all right, you can learn from everything that I've talked about here, but these are skills you got to invest in. All right, if you're not investing in these things, you shouldn't expect to have a skill. So with that said, let me recap the 3 things I just said. Anybody got a question here? We're talking about sales mindset. Put it in the comment section. I'll address it. I'll tell you about the event. And that'll be it. So number 1, creating things and selling things are 2 separate disciplines. You have the ability to create. You got to invest in the ability to sell. There's an art to it and there's a science to it on both sides. Number 2, people value what they buy more than they value what they get for free. So as a business person, it is your mandate and your directive that you have to charge people. You got to make people pay for what you're offering them because they will not get value out of it. They won't get a result out of it unless they have paid for it. People value what they pay for. And they pay attention when they pay for things. And the third thing is an analogy from basketball. The question is not if you can shoot. The question is, can you get your shot? I'm not questioning whether or not you have value. The question is, can you turn that value into value? Value is simply what people want. So can you turn that value into the thing that you want, which is for most people is usually money. All right. Can you turn your value into money? The way you do that is you do what I call the ICE method, ICE. I talked about that on my podcast. My podcast is called Work on Your Game, by the way. If you didn't know, it is right here. It's in the podcast apps, Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, all of those. You can find it. Just look up Work on Your Game on those apps I just said, Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud. Today's episode 2437, the ICE method for wealth creation. Most people are looking for wealth. And when most people talk about wealth, they're talking about money. But wealth is a lot more than money. Wealth is simply the things that people want. If you want it, create things that you want in life. You got to give other people what they want. You got to let them know that they have it, and you got to get into the situation where they're willing to give you something in order for you to give them something. And I'll talk about how that works again in my podcast episode just came out today. It's called Work on Your Game, Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, etc. So if you got a question about the selling sales mindset, put it in the comment section. I'll address it real quick. And while I'm waiting to see if anybody posts anything, I'll tell y'all my next event, Work on Your Game Live. Deadline to get your ticket is next Sunday. Next Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern is the last minute to get your ticket to this event. It's happening February 3rd and 4th in Miami. 2 full days. I'll be teaching the whole 2 days. We'll give you snacks and coffee and donuts and all that stuff. We do have a VIP dinner both on Friday and Saturday night. Optional. If you would like to join us, that's optional. You don't have to do that. But you can get into the event. You can reserve your spot right now for $1. Lost connection with that. $1 you can reserve your spot at Work on Your Game Live. Just go to the link it's the pin link you see in this live. If you're on Instagram, is in the comment section. If you're on Facebook, you can click on it right there on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, you can either just remember workonyourgame.live and go to it in a separate browser, or click the link in my bio on Instagram. Is workonyourgame.live. If you are in my text community or my email list, I'll be sending out text and email about this upcoming week, of course, because next Sunday is the last day. So we got 7 days left, about 7 days, and it's about almost 4:00. So what is that? About 8 hours. Then you got 7 days and about 8 hours to get your ticket to this event. Again, February 3rd and 4th here in Miami. You can write this off on your taxes as a business expense. You write off all the travel, write off the cost of the ticket, total cost of the ticket. your hotel, your Airbnb, you take an Uber, all that stuff, you write it off on your taxes as a business expense because you are investing in your business. The government wants you to invest in your business. They'll pay you back next year when you do your taxes for this. So again, it's workonyourgame.live is where you get your ticket to this event. If you have a question, let me scroll through here. Anybody got a question, go ahead and put it in the comment section. I will address one if I got any good ones. I'll address a question or two, but I might not have any. We'll see. Just audition for a TV series. Congrats to you. All right, I don't see any questions here, so maybe the message was just perfect today, so nobody has any questions. So anyway, y'all go to workonyourgame.live, get your ticket to the event, click the link in my bio, and that's where you can go to the website, get all the information, all the FAQs, everything is covered right there. Again, at workonyourgame.live. You can also text me. My number is, I'll put my text number in here. I already put it in here, but I'll put it in here again. My daily motivation text is 305-384-6894. No, you cannot attend this event via Zoom. It is in person in Miami, February 3rd and 4th. No Zoom. Be in the room. I'm personally am not a big fan of virtual events. A virtual event, you got other stuff going on. The kids in the house, you got people walking by asking you questions. You going to the kitchen, getting a sandwich while the event is going on. You wouldn't do any of that if you were in the room at the event. There's a whole different experience. So I'm not a big fan of virtual events. I did a virtual event in the past. If I did a virtual event, it would be only virtual. It wouldn't be in person and virtual. So in person is what this event is. Physically in the room, Miami, Florida. Question is, well, if you start the conversation with "so basically," then I already got to say no. So who's this? K Maria. If I talk for, let me see how long I've been talking. I'm talking for about 29 minutes, and you start your comment with "so basically," I'm already saying no, wrong. Whatever you said after that, wrong. And I'm reading what you said. That's wrong. That's not what I said. I just talked for 29 minutes, and what you got was that. Then that means you weren't listening. So Jeremiah said, "I'm in college." All right, what does that have to do with anything? What's you being in college? Why are you telling me that you're in college? What does that mean? I want to understand the significance of that comment. But what we're talking about here is the sales mindset. And the sales mindset, to address the comment there, one of the comments that was made there is that I just talked about how you had to invest in learning. You got to invest in learning the game if you want to get better at a game. And there are 5 forms of investment: time, money, attention, energy, and focus. So if I just talk for 29 minutes and your response is "so basically," and then you give this thing that I didn't even say, that means you didn't invest attention. You weren't paying attention and you weren't focused. So you're already failing at the 5 forms of investment. And see, when you fail at attention and focus, then it's hard to make money. Any of you think about that before? If you don't give attention and focus to something, then it's hard to make money at it. So this is why there are 5 forms of investment. All 5 of them matter. Time is the most important one. And Jeremiah said, "I want to attend the Zoom, but I cannot make it in person." Well, there is no Zoom, so there's no Zoom to attend. But you're in college, well, so what? You can miss one day of classes. Why can't you miss one day of classes? The event's a Friday and a Saturday. So I don't know how they do in college these days, but when I was in college, there were no classes on Saturdays, and you could skip one day of class. What's going to happen? You skip one day of class, nothing's going to happen. I mean, it's not midterms or finals right now, right? So skip Friday's classes, be here for Friday, then you got Saturday, and then Sunday you travel back to where you're at. What school you go to? Where are you in school at? Like, where are you geographically located? There's nowhere in America that you can't get back home in one day. So you can leave Thursday afternoon, wherever you're at, and you might be close enough you can drive. I don't know where you're at. You're in Florida, you can drive, but let's say you're somewhere that you have to fly. Even if you were all the way in, let's say like Seattle, you leave Thursday, you're coming to the east from west to east, so you're gaining time. You get here Thursday afternoon, evening, be here all day Friday, all day Saturday, get back on the plane Sunday, you'll be back in class Monday morning. So there, I just solved your problem. So you being in college does not preclude you from being at this event. When I was in college, I went to an event I was in school. I went to Penn State, Altoona. So I'm in the middle of the state of Pennsylvania. I went to an event that was in Orlando, and I drove to Orlando. I took a bus, as a matter of fact, to Orlando. You're in Georgia? That's nothing. That's like a 3-hour flight. Not even 3 hours. So you can drive I drove from Atlanta to Miami before. It's like 12 hours. So if you got a car or you rent a car, 12 hours, you can be here. You can leave Thursday after your classes. The latest class on a Thursday, well, sometimes it's night classes, but let's say you leave like 3, 4 o'clock Thursday. You be here by 5, 6 in the morning Friday. Or you can fly. It's about a 2, 3 hour flight from Atlanta to Miami. So boom, I just solved your problem. So Jeremiah, you being in college, that's a good reason for you to be here. It's not a reason to not be here. That's a reason you should be here. So again, we are talking the sales mindset. For those who came in late, that was the topic. I'll put this video on, it'll be on YouTube. It'll come out 3, 4 days from now. But again, workonyourgame.live is where you get your ticket to this event. Any of you who is thinking about coming to this event, you want to learn, you want to get your mindset in the right place when it comes to your business. You want to have a strategy, which is a game plan of action for achieving your goals. You want to have a system, which is what works the strategy to actually make things work out the way they're supposed to. And then, of course, the execution. That's the accountability. That's making sure things get done. That's actually getting the results that you want. That's what we're going to be covering at Work on Your Game Live. This is a 2 full days event from Friday and Saturday. We got a VIP dinners option on both Friday and Saturday night. That's optional, additional charge for that, additional investment for that. And that's 2 full days, Miami, Florida, with me. This is the deepest game that I give is going to be at these Work on Your Game live events. The great thing about these events is that if you are an attendee, you can bring your questions. You can get personalized attention. We're going to have hot seats, meaning you will be able to get your direct issues and challenges addressed by me in front of everyone there at the event. So anybody who has a question, by the time you leave the event, your questions will be answered and you will know what you are doing. You will know if you're doing something that's kind of not working. We'll fix that. You're doing something that is working. We'll figure out how to throw some gasoline on that so you can do it even better. And that's what happens at these events, Work on Your Game live. And again, I do these events in person because I want your full attention. I don't know what kind of attention I'm getting from you if you're on Zoom. So no Zoom. We're talking showing up and being in the room. And those of you who are younger folks, you never really attended an event in person before, understand that real business, high level business gets done in person. It gets done with a handshake, not through Zooms or even live streams like this one right here. They get done in person. You got to be face to face. You got to be where it's at. The biggest events where the biggest money is being made, those are in-person events. You got to be in the room. So if that means you got to fly to Vegas, it means you got to go to LA, it means you got to go meet somebody where they're at. They got to come meet you where you're at. That's where it takes place. And I know what I'm talking about. I've been in business long enough to know this. So with all that said, all y'all know the link. The link is in my bio. If there's a question you think of that I have not addressed, text me or send me a DM. Facebook, y'all see the link right there. So y'all should be going and getting your tickets right now. Again, that link is workonyourgame.live. Y'all know what it is. I will see everybody February 3rd and 4th here in Miami, Florida. Y'all have a great afternoon. Work on your game. Y'all here.